Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. I am joined once again with Inquisitor Sage,
Yep. Hello.
and he does nothing as usual, so we'll just jump right into it.
Yep.
Just kidding. How's it going, Sage?
It's going all right.
Fantastico.
I mean, there's nothing really going on here, so.
Yeah, nothing ever happens.
Mhm.
All right, well, I think we have
Especially not in Europe.
Yeah, nothing ever happens in Europe or in the United States ever. I guess we'll just jump into our three topics of whatever the case might be.
Yep.
The first one is the unfortunate news for anybody who is familiar with the Killing Floor games. I am. I played the first two. The second one's phenomenal. The first one was fun, but the second one's better. It's obviously an improvement. Unfortunately for the third, it had a beta test here the late February, and it's supposed to release later on this month, and people are unhappy. So people are unhappy with it's not normally it's a knockout of the park. They just changed everything. And it's probably because they had leadership change when one of the CEO at the time basically supported a heartbeat bill in Texas and said he was pro-life and basically got canceled for that. And when he left after 17 years at the company, um, basically Tripwire Interactive, the developers who made the first two and are the franchise owners, they did a lot of changing around. They don't have the classic tracks from Demon Hunter, Living Sacrifice, Fit for a King, and Impending Doom that they would have in the prior times. Epic soundtracks to play that kind of game too. But they also kind of changed how you could play it, because in Killing Floor 2, the most recent one, besides this one, you could pick a character, customize them however you wanted to, and then when you got into game, you would pick out your loadout as you played. Well, they're changing that, so now the character is connected to a loadout. So if you pick a character, you're getting that loadout. And they're basically going the operator status. Now, if you've ever played Overwatch or Marvel Rivals or more notoriously Call of Duty, you would be familiar with the operator system and the more recent, obviously, Call of Duties. They don't have quite the same, the old ones. But people are not happy because it reduces the customization of the characters people want to play, as well as your basic usual, I just want to play the game how I want to play. I want to pick the guns I want to play. I want to pick my customization for my skills and all that loadouts and stuff. It's all gone. And people are unhappy about it. And they're like, you basically took everything that made Killing Floor 2 and Killing Floor 1 good, or the spirit of Killing Floor, and just ripped it right out. So people are really upset about that because they're just trying to appeal to the broader audience. Well, the broader audience would have been invested in them if they were doing the right thing. So clearly they're not. So it doesn't make much sense for them to kind of just sell out all of a sudden. So that's why Killing Floor fans are disappointed with Killing Floor 3 through the beta already. And to that ends, and this was all through, I believe, was it Bounding into Comics. And apparently they were going to have a live stream, so they canceled that live stream so they could have meetings about what the response to people was. And the funny part is that they're going to kill their entire core audience, which is the people who are going to buy the game day one, when most people don't know what the game is. So you're making the game, which is a niche game. In other words, it's made for people who like horror shooter horde mode games. And most people don't know what Killing Floor is, and you're trying to sell it to people who don't know what the game is, and you're removing the people who'd buy your game day one because of this. I'm a big fan of Killing Floor 1 and 2, but I don't know if I'll be getting Killing Floor 3, depending on how they react. Now, one of the complaints also was about the Battle Pass, but the Battle Pass itself is not particularly anything new, because they have a Battle Pass similar type systems where you get like your chests, and then you find these little USB things that open the chests, and then you get skins and other little goodies from them and whatever. So I don't really care so much about that aspect, because as long as they're cosmetics or something like that and they don't actually affect the performance of the game, it doesn't ultimately matter, because you can completely ignore that aspect. But if people want to support the game and buy one, then who cares? As long as the game is functional, completely fully functional without it, people typically will support the game that they enjoy. But typically, if you have a pay game, which is one of the weird things about like the Assassin's Creed games, where they're trying to put like a battle pass into a single player game, like why would you do that? This essentially is the same kind of a thing. Like it's you have no PvP players you're fighting, like real people. So why would you have anything that would be considered potentially pointless? Because there's no reason to be like, I'm going to up my damage for 25 minutes or whatever, some random arbitrary number, because you're just fighting horde modes. That's literally it. So it doesn't make much sense in that regard. And if they do cosmetics, let them do cosmetics. Who cares? If people want them, they'll buy them. And if they have someone unlocked in the game, then they'll get them that way. So it doesn't really matter ultimately. But that's what's going on with Killing Floor 3. And Inquisitor Sage, unfortunately, has never heard of Killing Floor 3 or Killing Floor 2 or 1, unfortunately.
No, I have heard of it.
You didn't know what it was.
I've just never played it.
You didn't know what it was.
I didn't. What?
You didn't know what it was.
I wasn't specifically aware of the details.
You didn't know what it was. Anyway, I learned him something before we started this. But yeah, so that's going to be probably it. I mean, that's probably a world record for an issue. Not even 7 minutes in. So, woo. Now into the good stuff. We were doing, I believe, Wheel of Time, because life is disappointing and we want to be disappointed. So we have a clip from, I guess, the premiere or whatever they had. What was it called? The fan event?
Yeah, there was a fan. Well, no, the clip is actually from a different place.
The clip is from somewhere. I don't know. Sage gave it to me. Blame him. But there's a clip of, for those Wheel of Time fans, Galad and Gawain basically having their training grounds practice event. Now, if you're familiar with the books, this is the one where Matt comes in and has a bet with them, and Hamar, one of the warders that trains the non-warders and the upcoming warders.
So he's actually the main head warder, right?
Well, he is. He's the head guiding, but he's not like, I don't know who his Aes Sedai is off the top of my head.
Yeah. No, I don't know if he has one still.
Well, he does, because he's a warder.
Sure.
He does by definition.
Yeah, but he might have been retired, right, and just sort of not being active duty.
Well, point being, prepare to be disappointed, because I've only seen like 10 seconds of this thing and I've already been disappointed, and it's
yeah.
Long.
So maybe relevant. The left one is probably Gawain. The right one, lads.
Just off of hair color.
We're not 100% sure, because who knows?
I mean, build-wise, the guy in white pants also is built bigger, so it makes sense that he would probably be. But they're roughly the same height, which doesn't make sense. But
the show might just decide that they're not actually.
We'll also give commentary during this as well, because I already have things to say. I'm not happy with it, so I guess let's just go.
I like how they are not really fighting with swords. They're just punching each other.
Yeah, they're doing everything but fighting with swords. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't use actual swords in the training yard.
I don't think so, no.
They use wooden swords.
Probably sort of...
No. They use lathe blades, don't they? Or they wrap them up.
I don't know what that word means.
It's when they take cloth and they wrap it around it, and then they bind it with like a rope or something. Basically, it's the weight of a sword, but if it hits you, it might bruise you, but it won't cut you.
I don't remember.
I think that's how they do it in the book. But if it's not that, it's training swords. They're not going to use iron to iron, because if you stab somebody, he's dead.
Not real swords.
He's dead. Jim is dead.
Sharpened steel.
Yeah, like they're doing here. Oh look, it's Matt.
Yes.
I don't know what that was, but that's not a Wheel of Time. That's not a Wheel of Time move. That's just not how that works.
No, that's the kick to the chest.
The kick rushing down the mountain. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Remember, the sword forms are sword forms. They're for the sword, not for everything
No,
else.
but this is from the sword adjacent school of
The school that's never
kicks.
mentioned because it never wins the championships. Don't you love how his sword landed upright directly into the
Yeah,
sand? Like,
yeah.
just, oh, that's convenient from getting kicked. It's like,
I mean, it
ooh,
can happen. It's just not likely.
you'd have to have real. I mean, that sand's got to be freaking deep for that to work. Notice they're high-fiving swords. They're not even like sword fighting at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is. I'm gonna go back just so you can see that.
I mean, it looks like this is sort of outside.
High five swords.
So maybe the sand is deep enough for us.
The reason we think the guy with the curly wave hair is Gawain is because Elaine is the sister of Gawain, and Gawain is the brother of Elaine, and they have the same color hair, which is kind of a reddish gold. Supposed to be. Save that for more gays since she has just blonde hair. It's kind of weird. But Galad does not have this reddish gold hair, presumably because of his father.
Yep.
So therefore, that's how I'm guessing they're doing it. Now, I could be completely wrong, sheerly off of the fact that they just don't follow reason or logic or the source material. So there's no way to like guarantee it. I mean,
the actors look relatively similar, so it's hard to say in this scene.
One is more muscular and seems to be more mature, which is the guy in the white pants. And the guy in the reddish pants or maroon pants or whatever, he's more lanky and has kind of a younger hairstyle. So he also behaves.
It makes sense.
He also behaves immature, but I don't understand the point of making him behave immature because Gawain was a very well-behaved boy.
No, he does some immature stuff at times.
I mean, he did pranks and stuff, but anytime he's in public, he's always behaving prim and proper because he's
fair enough.
He's the first prince of the sword. Like he's not going to just go out there and do stupid stuff. Also, I don't remember Nynaeve nor Elaine being out there watching them, but yeah. So also you see here, look at the difference in the face age. There's no way. There's no way this is like.
Looking at this, the black hair guy is definitely the actor.
Is Galad. Yeah. Now watch what Gawain, the guy closer to the camera, is going to do next. He kisses. Neither Gawain or Galad are that kind of person. They're not playboys.
Yeah.
Especially Galad. Galad's dead serious about this kind of stuff. Like he might court you, like he was trying to court Egwene. But he's not like, ooh, kiss you and blow kiss. Like he's not going to do that. He's not going to do the whole Korean heart thing and all that stuff. Like he's not that kind of a person. He's a somber, serious. Yeah, this.
Oh.
So if you cut off the bottom, it looks like a heart.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that was a thing.
It's the thing Korean K-pop stars do and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really into K-pop. So.
I know, because you're gay. But anyway.
No, I think that's the opposite. Actually,
no, looking at attractive women is not gay. Just like to point that out. Not looking at attractive women is gay, however. Checkmate. Anyway, the behavior is that like Matt, who is the rogue and the dancing with the women, kissing
Matt would do this.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that because he understands that women like certain things. That's a childish thing he's doing there. That's not something that's going to happen in that regard. Plus, no one goes goo-goo-eyed about Gawain. They go goo-goo-eyed about Galad. Gawain's always like distant second place in thoughts when these two are in the same room because Galad's the drop-dead gorgeous one, and Gawain's just kind of the meh. Like, he's good looking.
Well, relative to Galad, that is.
Relative to Galad, yes. But like, he's not a bad-looking guy. But he's
because
no
all
Galad.
The main characters and adjacent are, of course, like super good looking.
Yeah, and also, why would he be doing this to the novices? Because the novices and the accepted, he's not going to be their warder, because he's going to be the first prince of the sword for Elaine.
Yeah.
So he's not going to become a warder Or if he has become a warder, it's going to be to Elaine. Like, which, again, might be good because, I mean, if she's an Aes Sedai and she's also the Queen of Andor at some point, well, she's going to live for a long freaking time.
Yep.
But also, I think him being a warder is going to make him live a little bit longer. Not quite to the length that she will by any means, but longer. So at least they're going to spend more time together as, warder and Aes Sedai.
And they were going to spend time together anyway, so might as well become a warder.
See, like, they're not even, like, why do they even have swords? Because everything they're doing is not sword related. Yep. They're kicking their feet out. They're grabbing each other's face, spinning them in a weird dance routine. They're
maybe
pushing
they picked
each
up
other.
the actual swords and thought, "Oh shit!
Wait, we're supposed to use these?
Maybe not actually use these because someone might die.
I might actually kill my half brother." Guy that like gets knocked down. Ow! You gotta be joking. Everything is backwards. Mm-hmm. Oh look, it's the Yakuza Min.
I guess that's one way too.
She's got like the side shaved hair, the slick back. She's wearing white. Yeah. She's all like prim and proper. And she's always like, she's still like getting really upset about like betraying Matt or some bull crap, which never have happened.
Yeah,
so
character doesn't really make any sense anymore.
And then apparently she's an alcoholic now. Okay, good.
Yeah. I mean, she worked in a bar, right? So
I don't know why she's even here.
There's
literally no reason for her to be here.
To be fair, she was sort of captured and stuck in the tower for a while, right? So maybe this is
but she hadn't gotten there yet by this point, I don't think. Matt was already gone before she came in.
No. She was there and then she left before Matt came in.
So Matt came back to get healed. That's why he was here. And he was on the recovery stage when he takes on
during that
Gilad
time
Gowan.
Had already left with Leandrin and the others.
Not with Leandrin.
To farm. Yeah.
Did Min go with that?
Egwene, Elaine, Nynaeve, and Min all went through the ways.
I'm trying to remember. I was like, Min's just like a in this case a fourth class character compared to the other three, because the other three, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then they met up with the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because Min was with Egwene, because they can't call her Min because Min's not.
Egwene got captured. Min also, but of course Min's not.
Yeah. So Min wasn't there at this time, but Matt was. No.
And the whole farm battle happened.
Farm happens.
Then Min joined Rand on his journey to Tyr.
No.
But then he ran off on his own.
No, because you forgot they went in the mountains first.
Yeah,
that's and they waited their months. That's not a journey.
That's where
he literally just hang out there.
Planning on going to Tyr, and they were all sort of camping together in the mountains, sure. And then Rand ran off.
Yes, but they weren't very far from where the Fallen actually was.
Went back to the tower with Elaine, Egwene, and Nynaeve and Varen.
And then who was it? Huron was with them, and who else was with them?
Was Huron with the?
Oh, it was yes. Huron was with them because him and Matt would play dice and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And he's important later when they go.
Well, he gets released to go back to Shinar, and he goes back to Shinar to tell Lord Algomar about the dragon being reborn. So.
Yeah.
Because they have the interaction with the White Cloaks outside of the tower, and then after that is when he gets released, once they get into the tower.
Yeah. So Min is not supposed to be able to see this fight.
Yeah, Min's not here. Matt gets healed at the tower and separated from the dagger.
Again, to be fair, this is a spoiler for episode 1. Rand,
I thought we were doing this.
Aaron, and the gang, they, instead of going south from Farm to Tyr, or first in the mountain camping, right? They all went back to the White Tower. So they're now just hanging out.
Why wouldn't you?
They're now hanging out in Tar Valon.
Again, why wouldn't you? You don't have a storyline to
Indeed.
follow or anything, so you can
Yeah.
just do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Exactly.
It's not like they had
So
like 15 books
I
of this
guess
written down or anything. It's just they
I
kind of just
guess
made this up as they went.
technically Min is still with Rand and Perrin at the moment. They're just all in Tar Valon instead of camping in the mountains.
Well, also she doesn't do her whole like getting with Rand and being like laying naked with him to keep him
True.
warm
That's
scene. That
that's
whole got skipped because at
mhm.
this point, I don't even think Min likes Rand because I don't even
I
see
mean,
them in the same scene or even looking at each other
it
to the
makes
point.
more sense for Min and Matt to join together in this.
No, it doesn't. 'Cause you still have two on. They're not cutting two on. That'd be taking a
No,
minorities section.
I'm pretty sure they will.
You think? Well, I mean, they're never going to get to two on, but
Yeah, which is why that's not happening.
I don't think they're intending for that to happen per se. But this is like
Maybe.
this is a poor adaptation of a very fantastic series, but that's most of them. By the way,
Yep.
do you guys enjoy the wonderful styrofoam decoration that is this statue of or this pillar? I guess I should say. It's fantastic.
Lovely.
Oh, Matt's awkward. He's wearing an oversized outfit. He's looking literally at anything but this.
Oh, that was a bathrobe.
Didn't think that you'd be in for this kind of thing, Nynaeve.
I think everyone is in for this kind of thing, Matt.
Implying that all the guys that are watching are gay and all the women are totally not.
Yeah. No, they were. I guess.
And
I guess
Nynaeve,
everyone is
Nynaeve
in
would
for that.
throw a fit seeing this. This is not Nynaeve's character because Nynaeve doesn't want to see anyone get hurt. Guess what happens when you are fighting with real live blades and your half brothers? Someone's probably gonna get hurt.
I don't think the fact that they're half brothers is necessarily relevant to that statement.
It's not relevant, probably no, but they are people of a relevant relationship, so they're not just random strangers who don't care about each other.
Yeah, I guess. No.
So, who are these tossers?
My brothers.
So, they're princes or something?
And they act like it. Entitled bastards. No offense, Elaine.
I mean, they act like it. They're just fighting each other in a sand pit.
Nynaeve's not going to call royalty entitled. It comes with the territory. You're royalty. By default, you're entitled. She's not going to go, entitled. It's like, as I say, patriarchy. It doesn't... No one in this world is against the patriarchy. It's not a thing.
No. I think this might just happen to be as something they might say sometime during the season.
I'm saying in the season, but I'm talking like in the real character of Nynaeve.
Sure.
She's not the kind of person going around saying, down with capitalism. Apologies, Elaine. Down with the patriarchy. Apologies, Elaine. Down with the entitled. Apologies, Elaine. Like, that's just not her character. For one, she doesn't apologize.
That's true. Yeah.
Two, she doesn't give a crap about anybody other than the Two Rivers. So if you're a rich, entitled person out in the middle of nowhere, she doesn't care. Because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
Well, and yeah, here we are.
Pisses me off. Elaine would not be here because she would not care about either of them either.
None taken. Coming from someone sleeping with an actual king.
Also didn't happen.
But also, is he a king?
He's the king of Malkier. There's just no established borders for it because it's been
like,
swallowed up by the blight.
If the kingdom doesn't exist, can you?
Yes.
Legitimately? Yeah.
Yes, you can. It's been established in the lore. You should know this, you freaking heathen.
Fair enough.
Flaming son of a goat. Again, why play with swords when we can just dance around and frolic on the beach? Like, that's all that's happening.
I guess the sand is there, so...
That's the beach. All the greenery and growing, although that actually might make sense because Aes Sedai can grow things magically. Look at that! Look at that Chad. There's a reason he's better than Gawain. I do like when they wear the pants up above the belly button. It's funny. Oh.
They need that to hide the maneuver thingies for the
Is
special
it just
effect.
me? I don't recall Accepted having the slit right below their neck. Is that just me?
No, that's
Or is that
probably
just all of them?
they all have slightly different values.
Okay, he just does a really random jump. And he would never beat Galad. I shouldn't say never. He wins like 1 out of 10 against Galad.
Yeah.
Random representation?
Mhm.
Yeah, see, Nynaeve's does not have the slit.
Yeah, and see the one in the back has a little thingy over it.
What do you mean thingy over it?
The dark colored fabric.
Those are novices. They're not accepted.
Yeah, but the novices are supposed to just wear the white, right?
Yeah, but that's probably because they're working in kitchens or something and they don't want to get dirty.
Maybe.
But I agree. It should be all white. They should have white aprons, not gray ones.
Seen enough.
So Elaine at this point is also still a novice. Oh, Disney Plus is
Last
extremely
week,
full.
Daredevil
Woo!
Born Again premiered on Disney.
I said pause, dadgummit.
Well, I guess real life fake wizard made an appearance.
Hey, why not? He's already been in 2 other videos.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I
Yeah.
dislike it. He's got some funny content.
Might as well check that out.
Yeah, go check
after
out
this.
Real Life Fake Wizard, guys. Links in other videos. He didn't make much of an appearance here, so I don't want to put him in there. But yeah, needless to say, that was only less than 2 minutes and was less than 2 minutes of disappointment.
Well, no, it was. Well, technically,
We didn't
less
even
than
get to
2 minutes
see,
of
like, for
disappointment,
one, the fight was completely wrong
yeah.
because Galad would have won.
Mhm.
On top of that,
The
there
fight
was,
was completely wrong because they
Matt
didn't
wasn't
fight
there.
with swords,
or they didn't fight with swords either.
But they had swords, but they didn't fight with them. And even if
They
they
danced with
they weren't
swords, is what they did.
supposed to have swords.
They danced with
not real
swords.
ones, and Matt was not in it. So yeah.
Well, Matt was there. Matt wasn't in the fight because
yeah,
the original story is Matt gets a bow staff and he makes a bet because he needs money, and he makes a bet with Galad and Gawain that he would win him versus both of them for coin. And they're like, we're not going to steal your coin, blah, 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 blah. So Hamar, the actual guiding, the warder that trains all the other warders, takes the bet for them and basically says, like, let's see what happens. He knows what's going to happen. Just point that out. And it's to teach a lesson. But Matt, who's very, very weak, like very weak at this point, and has a hard time standing up. He has look at all the weapons, but he ends up going with the bow staff. And he uses the bow staff and beats both of them pretty good to the point where, like, they're bleeding on the side of their heads. The Aes Sedai, and because it was Aes Sedai and Accepted and novices watching them.
Well, the Aes Sedai hate Matt after this, of course.
They didn't know of his existence, but now they know about it. They hate his guts because how dare you hurt the beautiful Galad and the semi beautiful Gawain. But basically he beats them. He gets his money, and then he practically almost collapses because it was all of his energy basically taking out the 2 of them. They're very good sword fighters, and they're going to make excellent warder tier trainees, kind of a thing. But Hamar's like, he's like, you all heard of the story of some other guy, and it's basically the farmer with the bow staff beating the greatest swordsman, and it's literally just a play on, what's his name, Mashimoto or something? I can't remember his name. The Japanese. This is a Japanese guy who's like the greatest swordsman, and he gets beat by a farmer.
Yeah, I don't recall the name.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but that's the story it's based off of. Is a real historic story, because technically the Wheel of Time story takes place in our world, just ages past, kind of a thing, and it recycles. But that's what actually happens. We were denied this by a Matt who's not interested in making any money for some reason, by Elaine who was not there, being there. Nynaeve would not be as whatever show night
interested
as
in
whatever
fighting.
shine. Well, yeah, but she's like, oh, we're all here. Like she's implying that like there's bare-chested guys. Why do I not be here? And then Elaine even points out like you're sleeping with a king. Why are
True,
you? Why are you watching these two guys when you could have literally the dude himself?
Exactly.
But then again,
But
you're all,
also, Nynaeve is not a fan of fighting, as we mentioned. So
yeah, she
would
doesn't like
to
people
not-
doing harm to people because like, I mean, with the exception of maybe like Trollocs and Shadowspawn and all that jazz, because
Yeah, no, they can die.
they can because she's not going to try to heal them, but she doesn't like them fighting people she loves because the people she loves might get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd rather obliterate the shadow spawns to protect them rather than, them get hurt and then her have to heal them or potentially not be able to heal them because that would terrify her even more.
Yeah. Lovely.
She wouldn't be there because she doesn't care about Galado or Gawain either way. But also, when they get yanked out and go to Falma, Egwene, Nynaeve, and
Min
Elaine
and Elaine. Yeah.
and Elaine, I believe, go to. Do they go straight to Tyr? Or do they come back and then Nynaeve gets?
So they go to farm, then they travel back with Matt,
Oh yeah, they go back with Matt, and then
and then
they
Matt gets healed.
Well, they leave, if I recall correctly.
I think Matt leaves first. He's supposed to bring a letter to
No,
Caitlin.
Well, yeah, they leave about the same time because he
And
gets
then
the letter from
they
Elaine.
go with the riverboat south to Tyr. But then on the way, they sort of
Well,
break
they both
down.
take riverboats, and his riverboat goes past their riverboat.
Yeah, and their riverboat also breaks down halfway through, and then they need to go
No,
to
no,
land.
I'm saying Matt's passes theirs.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
they leave
the
first
other.
because. Oh no, I'm talking about just the three. So Matt sticks around. He gambles. He's like, I need gold if I'm going on this
Yep.
expedition. So he goes.
And then gets almost killed, and
Well,
thinks, let's
he
go anyway.
It's like his luck kicks in, and another guy dies instead of him, which is lucky for him. And he makes quite a bit of money. And then he goes to the doctor, like, don't even bother, we know. And he's like, I've got the papers, shove it. And then he has to run and jump onto the ship.
Yeah.
And then as they go down, he sees one that's crashed, and that's the one that the girls were on. But I think they had already gotten on a different boat and were going downstream
Yeah,
at
could
that
be.
time.
Yeah.
Because they
But
changed.
no, the boat crashed, and then they got to land, and then they meet some Aiel.
That was much further down, though, I thought.
I thought that was, and then they
It
find
could,
another.
it could
boat
be. I haven't read it in like a
But
year.
Matt goes to Gamelin and then finds out that there's a plot to kill the others, and then hurries to
Then
Tyr.
he goes to Tyr, yes.
And he has to save
Which we're
them
not going to
before-
get that plot line either because you can't save women because women don't need
Exactly.
saving.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot we missed that was much more interesting than this. And
In the meantime,
it's
by the way,
depressing.
Rand is supposed to come to Tyr from all the way to Farm.
Yeah,
which
he's basically supposed to go from
he's-
here all the way over.
But instead, he
Or I
went
guess
to
from here all the way
Tarvalon
over here.
first, which is a choice.
Rand has never been to Tarvalon until the very end of the series.
Yeah.
I'd like to point that out.
No, but he has been there twice already now, right?
That's his doppelganger.
Yeah.
It's not Rand.
Sure
it's
doesn't make any sense.
Frand, not Rand. Frand.
Ah, friends. I see. His twin brother. Yes.
Not his twin brother. His stepbrother.
Okay, that makes things slightly worse.
From a
I guess.
different mother and a different father.
Wait.
Anyway, oh, I guess the family's home. But yeah, so basically nothing that was in that clip happened. It's not real. You can basically put it out of your mind. It was disappointing regardless.
Yeah.
But
Just go read the books.
yeah, just read the books. So now we have other options, and it's something I'm not like intimate with because I never really read the books or really cared beyond the movies, and I didn't even care about the movies. The wonderful thing that we call Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So
Lovely.
this is
So,
a topic of much controversy.
Indeed.
for multiple reasons. One of them being the castings, other things because, you know, the length of the series.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be the high profile TV adaptation that breaks all that. Like, this is supposed to be the one.
Yeah.
This is it, folks. This is the series that's going to pretty much blow every other series out of the water. Game of
Mhm.
Thrones is going to blow out, you know, definitely Rings of Power.
Mhm.
It's supposed to blow everything out of the water. There is nothing as high quality as this because J.K. Rowling herself is part of the actual, like, she's in charge of this, allegedly.
Mhm. And this
Yeah.
is supposed to be 100% book accurate.
This is supposed to be book accurate. Now, I think we all know that's not going to happen just because
Probably not,
it's
yeah.
Hollywood. But, so stuff's going on about who's going to play the primary characters, blah, 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 blah. Rumors, speculation.
Mhm.
This all happened for a hot minute. They got a bunch of unknowns who are going to be cast as Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger. Again,
No, we
Huh?
Unknowns in the way that we don't know who they are yet.
they're not well-known actors and actresses.
No, but we also don't know who they are yet.
Well, I guess not, but there's
They
a
have not
call
been-
for there's a call
They
for
have
them.
not been officially casted.
Well, they're officially casted with unknowns. We know that. We don't know who they are. And they're not popular, at least as far as I'm aware. But they're also trying to pick out some well-known actors for the older characters, but no casting has been confirmed, allegedly.
Yep.
Despite everybody all being like, yeah, we know this person's been this person with this person, this person. I wish they would just tell us who is and who isn't. They just keep saying they're eyeing, and I'm like, I don't care who they're eyeing because they're probably incorrect anyway because I know how you guys cast.
Yep.
So, for Albus Dumbledore, apparently John Lithgow is supposed to be in final talks to play the role. But the person who was Mark Rylance turned down to become a producer, I guess. And then there's also, you know, Gary Oldman, who played Harry Potter's Godfather series Black, said he'd be up for playing a character, which could be interesting. Gary Oldman's a very good actor.
Yep.
And then somebody else named Mark Strong.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, people specifically aren't liking John Lithgow because he's American, though.
But British accents can be faked, just like
True,
American
true.
accents can be faked.
Mhm.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
For example,
But
Henry
that's part of
Cavill
the controversy.
played an American, which was actually, he did a really good job. Nothing particularly, what would you call it, controversial about the Dumbledore casting as far as I'm aware.
Mhm. Yeah, Dumbledore is probably fine. The only sort of vaguely controversial bit is that some people don't like that he's not British.
Which nobody cares if he has a British accent.
Mhm.
As long as
If
he has the British accent,
can do the accent, then it's all fine.
it's fine. But I was told that the only person who can play something is the person who is that something. So if you're not trans, you can't play a trans character.
Oh, wait a minute.
They're not acting, they're being themselves.
I guess.
And then also, yeah, I know, right? Wait just a daggone minute, man. But I mean, like, we'll get to the acting part later. I'll mention that. Also, the big controversial is Severus Snape.
Yeah.
Because
That's
of the
a slight
rumor, is I guess his name's Papa Asidu. I don't know how to say that. I'm not gonna try. But apparently he's a star of Gangs of London, The Lazarus Project, and The Capture. I don't know what any of those are because I'm not
Never heard of
British,
those.
and they're probably on the BBC, but they're probably not things that are worthy of stars. But he's reportedly
yeah.
in final talks to play Severus Snape. And again, he doesn't fit the book description
Yeah.
at all.
And to be fair, also, this is especially a thing because the fandom really wants Adam Driver to be Snape.
Because Adam Driver looks a lot like Alan Rickman,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Adam Driver's American, right?
Yeah, so
But again,
apparently
accent.
that doesn't matter here.
Yeah. Well,
They just want him.
Well, yes, he just has the hair
He-
naturally. He has
Yeah,
the nose.
he would probably be
he's
the
he's
perfect
got
fit.
he's
If-
got the face
if
that can
any
be both.
perfect casting exists, it would be Adam Driver as Snape.
if there's
I think.
any like comparison, like Adam Driver has both the handsome hunk effect and also he's hideously looking. So
Yeah.
he can play both parts. And considering Snape's supposed to be hideous, why would you pick somebody who's good looking to do it? Also, all the other controversial things of like he's supposed to get hanged, he's supposed to be racially profiled
Oh no, he's not supposed to be racially profiled.
in the books, allegedly. I don't know, I never read the books, but that's what I
No,
keep
that
hearing
no,
over and over again.
no. That's what is going to happen if you get this actor, because then it will be
A racial
not
crime.
a racial crime rather than just a bullying event. Let's call it.
Needless to say, it's going to look horrible on screen
And
for
also,
all the politically correct sensibilities in Hollywood.
Snape is portrayed as a bad guy in, well, spoilers, right up until the very end of his character arc.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, that means he's a good guy. He was the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
yeah, which
So
may be controversial in itself.
if this is a thing, if Papa Isidu is being eyed for this, I would like to propose an actor who would fit the part and satisfy the urges of people who want a colored minority. Robert Downey Jr. He has both been a black man and a white man and multiple things. He's also a better actor.
Yeah, I guess.
So he can play the dude disguised as, or he can play the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude pretty easily. So just make him Snape.
Maybe,
He can play anything, right?
I guess.
But it would go perfectly alongside anything else that's happening in this. So what could possibly be wrong about it at all? You can't complain about it. He's the better actor. He can be any minority group you want, really. And he's arguably one of the best actors we have out right now. Another one is Minerva McGonagall. I know the
You don't have a
actress.
picture?
They didn't give me one, no. But Janet McTeer, actually, from what I did see of a picture of her, does look like she could fit. She doesn't look old enough, but she does have the face style. But
Yeah.
you could probably
I've
make
seen,
you could probably make up the face to look
I've
older.
seen a picture. Yeah, she looks pretty similar to the previous actor, so that could definitely work.
And there's
No, I don't know how good she
I
is.
love her like the Oscar-nominated actor who recently appeared in an unfairly canceled Netflix show, Chaos. Why is it unfairly? Like, it's canceled because no one's either watching it, or it didn't make
Yeah.
enough money, or any of those things. But it's
But-
never unfairly canceled. It's not like the back end.
Regardless, though, why would you put this as the thing she's known for when she's an Oscar-nominated actor who has presumably starred in different things, right?
I don't know who she is, and they just mentioned nothing about what she was Oscar nominated for, so I have no idea who. But she didn't
Yeah.
win the nomination. She just was nominated.
That's fair.
Anybody can be nominated, so it's not like that's that big of a thing.
Good point.
But they did this specifically so they could
the
throw
Oscars
in
don't
another.
mean anything
Well,
anymore.
they threw this in just specifically so they could, get you to read another article.
That's fair. Good point.
Another
actually.
name
Yeah.
is being floated was Irish actor Sharon Horrigan, and the star and creator of Bad Sisters. Never heard of it. Sounds terrible. The favorites, Rachel Weisz, was also being reportedly eyed, but it seems like the role is McTeer's to lose. To lose.
Lose. Oh.
Wouldn't it be gain? Anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe this is some weird.
But we don't know. We don't know any of these being for sure, which is the funny part, because
Yeah.
there are people are talking about it and they're like, "Oh, it's this person's definitely got it locked in," and it was like, I don't think it's.
I
Actually
mean, I
locked
don't know
in.
how the actual process works.
They announce who it is. That's how.
Yeah, okay, but do they do that themselves, or is
I would
that
assume
through a
so.
similar article?
Well, I'm assuming they would do it, and it would get put into an article by all the people covering Hollywood. So
Fair enough.
Rubus, I'm assuming this is
Hagrid?
Rubius Hagrid. I just go by Hagrid.
Wait, is that the actor that plays Galad? What?
The most bizarre casting rumor is Brett Goldstein. Why is he the bizarre casting?
I don't know. Maybe because he doesn't look like Hagrid.
He's already hairy.
Good point, but not enough.
I'm pretty sure that can grow out, or he can put on a beard wig.
Maybe.
Um,
This is that guy. Yeah. I think that
he's
could work.
comedies Ted Lasso and Shrinking. I don't know who those are, but comedy shouldn't have anything to do with this, so it shouldn't matter. He's being lined up to play Hagrid, the cuddly gameskeeper played by the late Robert.
Voice-wise, I think he could probably do it.
I mean, literally anybody can do it. Like
No, but I mean,
Andy
the
Serkis
sound.
could do it.
He has a type of voice that I think could fit Hagrid. And if he's going to be in a giant costume anyway, so right, you don't see
Or
his
he's
face.
going to be Hobbit style size.
True, could also be. Regardless, though, his face is mostly going to be covered in hair.
They're just
so
saying he's being lined up to play it. No confirmation yet.
no confirmation.
But there's nobody
I
else
think
in the
this will-
running, apparently, so I guess he's got nobody to fight him on it. Aunt Petunia Dursley. I don't even know who this is, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge
that seems like a bad choice, but
might
on the other
be
hand, maybe
in that.
maybe
Which would make
fits.
sense, because she's a spiteful aunt, which fits her personality
Mhm, yep.
perfectly.
But this person is not going to be in the most of the show anyway, because it's
Well, yeah, but she's
not
also
from Hogwarts.
working on a bunch of new titles for Prime Video, which is disappointment. I think she's working on the Laura Croft TV show or whatever.
Oh, yikes! Well,
Yeah,
I guess we're not
Tomb
going to-
Raider that doesn't raid tombs.
Oof.
Lord Voldemort. This one I'm actually
Mhm.
kind of excited for, if it's true.
Yeah.
Harry-
Well, he has a nose, so that's the problem.
So did Voldemort, technically speaking.
Well.
It's just flattened. Apparently, Voldemort could be claimed by actual Oscar winner
Mhm.
Cillian Murphy, and I like his work. I'm
Yeah,
I'm ready to start the Peaky Blinders series, and I'm looking forward to it because I like him. But he's been pretty put up there in terms of actually being pushed for to be Voldemort, and that the former Voldemort star Ralph Fiennes was asked whether Murphy would be a good successor, and he's like, Cillian is a fantastic actor. That's a wonderful suggestion. I would be all in favor of Cillian.
Mhm.
But it's
However, it seems like he could also be Professor Quirrell, which I think is not a good fit.
I feel Voldemort would be a better
Yeah.
position. It's like playing. Do you want to play Harry or do you want to play the freaking random like actor number 7 in the background in the
Mhm.
bathroom?
Yeah.
Like
No, but also Quirrell is he doesn't.
I don't remember who.
fit
I don't
the
know who
look.
Quirrell is. So I don't know.
Quirrell is the little turban guy from the first movie.
I'll be honest. I don't remember the Sorcerer's Stone. But yeah, I mean, I could see this happening. He's got gravitas. He's got menace.
Yeah.
He can make it work.
Voldemort could definitely do it. I think that would
You
be
mean
good.
Cillian Murphy could do it?
Yeah.
You said Voldemort.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Voldemort can be Voldemort. Voldemort is Voldemort.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. It was implied in that sentence that I was talking about him.
Sirius Black. Apparently, he doesn't appear till book 3.
Yeah.
So there's no reason
And
for
even
him to
then-
show up.
He only shows up right at the very end.
But this hasn't stopped speculation that Ben Barnes will take the role of Harry's
I don't
godfather.
know who that is.
I don't know who that is either. I guess he's from the Chronicles of Narnia and Shadow and Bone.
But which character?
I don't know. I didn't watch either of those new ones. So
Okay, I'm going to look it up.
it's been
Ben
going on for 20 years that people have been very kindly
Oh,
saying
he's
it
the
would
guy
be.
that plays Prince Caspian.
Sure, I don't know who that is. I know who the character of Chris Caspian is. I don't know who he plays in this or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. I don't care enough.
Yeah, I mean, could be good. Who knows?
I'm sure people can Google it if they want to see it.
Yeah.
If anything, blame the Independent for not freaking put it in their stupid article.
Mhm.
They want to play a young version of Sirius Black character, but now it's been going on so long. I'm now the age of the actual character in the books. It's kind of depressing if you think about it. They're books that I love, and at least half of my career has been based on literary adaptations that I've loved. And Harry Potter, I see no reason why it would be any different, but I haven't spoken to anyone about it yet. So
Okay.
people are vying for it, but
That bit alone makes me think that's probably a good.
Yeah,
actor
but
to-
remember, we also have people who love the Wheel of Time that are on the Wheel of Time show.
That's a good point.
So I'll believe that after the series is completed and not been butchered.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now,
Well, I
we'll
mean,
get to the rest of it because I want to get to this other stuff.
it's mostly the writers.
Molly Weasley. I don't even.
/ Ollivander, because those are the same people.
I guess that they're people. They're probably just taking two people and putting them in the same one because they didn't want to make two different separate pieces for it. Jessica Hines and Peter Capaldi.
Okay. I assume Peter Capaldi for Ollivander.
That's my assumption. Which actually,
Could work.
he plays the quirky guy. That could work.
Mhm.
I thought Ollivander wasn't that old though.
No, he's super old.
Okay, that makes sense then. Or maybe I'm thinking the other Ollivander from Hogwarts Legacy. He's much younger than that.
Oh yeah, but that's like an entirely different character.
Like a different century different. Anyway, I don't know who Jessica Hines is, but she'd be Molly Weasley, I'm assuming. But I feel like
probably.
you would cast the Weasley family and all the kids alongside Harry, Ron, and Hermione, wouldn't you? Because they all could be around
Probably.
the same age anyway. Or is Molly the mom?
That's the mother, yeah.
Okay, so who's the dad?
Arthur.
Well, apparently not, because he's not in this.
But he plays a major role in the story.
Apparently he's not in this.
Hmm.
I don't know what to tell you.
Anyway, Ollivander is like 80 plus years old.
I mean, are we shocked or are we shocked?
Not really.
Now, Peter Capaldi, I think, could play that. I mean, makeup and everything, if he's not already that old. I think he's pretty old as it is, but he's maybe in his 70s. Oh. But anyway, the other thing that I find to be...
Obviously, by the way, if Papa Esidu, or however you pronounce it, is playing Snape, I think we can also pretty surely say Hermione is going to be black as well.
Probably. I would say that it's more likely that if that is the case, and J.K. Rowling does approve it, she doesn't care about her own series anymore. Probably because she's already made money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to care. I thought she was writing new books, but I don't know if she is or not.
Maybe, but not in the same universe.
Well, it'd be the Harry Potter universe. It'd just be a different timeline. Probably after Harry Potter's gone.
Maybe. I don't think anyone's interested in that, though.
Well, they might be, because there might be more Harry Potter stuff in terms of the world.
Maybe.
I mean, they had Fantastic Beasts. I don't know how well that did overall.
Not very well.
That also could be just because they were poorly made.
Yeah, but she was the one directing that.
I mean, she's an author, not a director, so that makes sense. The TV
Sure,
show has an actual showrunner, but is under the authority of J.K. Rowling. Last time I checked and I heard.
Yeah.
Now, this could potentially mean that the show is not going to be as accurate as we thought. Now, I also think this could...
And that's really the only reason that this show is supposed to be there, right? It's the movies were not great because they're not really as accurate.
Imagine being...
So the show was going to fix all that.
Imagine being Universal Studios as they release their new Harry Potter Wizarding World ride set and everything, and it be not Harry Potter themed because it's everybody but wrongly casted. And people are like, I don't know who these people are because they're not matching their descriptions in the books.
And to be fair,
that would be very disappointing, wouldn't
I don't think you can deviate from the way they're portrayed in the movies as much either, because those are right now established as how the character is supposed to look.
Well, Harry Potter's not been out long enough for it to have been like enough years for people to be like, oh, we can do a reboot now, and then we don't know who these people are. Like 20 years from now, they're still going to know Alan Rickman as
Alan Rickman. Everyone, if you mention Snape and they know about Harry Potter, they will immediately in their mind see a picture of Alan Rickman.
Yeah, which makes sense because he did a fantastic job.
Exactly. But I think that's also the case for almost all of the other Harry Potter actors that play the major characters, right?
It's a pretty legendary cast, let's be honest.
Exactly. So making
Except for
a
Daniel
show,
Radcliffe and Emily Watson.
making a show to reboot it and then completely deviate from the established character um, looks is, I think, going to be a terrible choice for this series.
Also
Because
confusing.
let's be honest, it's confusing, yes, but the target audience, right, is not the type of people who
Well,
want a diversity
I would
bias.
presume the target audience is kids because
Probably,
it's a kid's book. But I would
but
also assume
why
that the
would they not just
kids.
watch the movie instead?
Well, I mean that too. But I'm saying like I would assume that the kids would have also read the books.
Probably.
So if you've read the books and watched the original movies, you already know what these characters look like. So
Yep.
then you're going into a TV show with them not looking anything like that. So
Mhm.
what's the point? Now,
Well,
this could be because J.K. Rowling is a
Hardwing?
hardcore
It's
left-wing nut job that just disagrees about trans people, specifically trans
Mhm.
men, or
Yeah.
men transitioning into women type thing. And
That would be trans women,
I know I don't freaking care
right?
because
I
they're
think.
all medically out
The
there
terminology
mentally.
is very confusing. That's true.
Yeah. Either way,
Probably intentionally so.
maybe she's on the big both on both. I don't know, but I just know she's really big on men who are pretending to be women not being in women's sports, and also in women's bathrooms and such.
Yeah.
Dressing rooms,
But
changing rooms,
she's not
lockers, etc.
actually anti-trans.
Well, yeah, she's just anti-location trans.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And which is what
I don't know why you would be not anti-trans and be anti them being where you don't want them to be, because if you are emboldening them to be whatever they think they are,
that is the natural.
you're already assuming, like, if you believe the man is actually a woman because the man says he's a woman, then why is the woman not allowed in women's spaces or doing women
No, I
things?
think that's where they deviate, right? So
well, that's where they deviate, but I can't separate the two logically speaking as how one's okay and the other one is not.
okay, maybe, I don't know.
Like, for example, if you used quote unquote wizarding wand and went doo-doo-doo-doo, poof, and you became a full-fledged woman, would you be allowed in women's stuff? Because technically it's still a man, just visibly is fully a woman.
I don't know.
Well, if you make yourself a woman through magic powers, but you could, like, think of it like Naruto, where he can do this the sexy jutsu.
But that's different from trans.
I mean, well, yeah, they're not real for one.
Because there's like
Actually,
the
no, that
actual...
makes sense. A very good sense. They're not real. But I was referring more to.
No, but see, in this hypothetical example, there's an actual full transformation happening.
Well, allegedly, there is levels of trans that can go that far. It's just not all of them require that far. Like, you can have a full beard of hair and be this big old 56-year-old man who's been working out his entire life, and you can say, "I'm a woman," and therefore everyone has to bow to your whims.
In your hypothetical scenario, you use magic to basically truly become a woman, right?
I mean, it's a ninjutsu, but yeah.
Is it a ninjutsu? I thought we were talking about the Harry Potter magic.
I was talking about Naruto, but yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Sexy jutsu specifically.
Yeah, the sexy jutsu. Okay, fair. But that's just like that. I think
I'm
that's
saying,
more
like, if in real world you could use the sexy ninjutsu, and a man was like, "I need to go to the bathroom," and then just went sexy jutsu, and he was all of a sudden this, naked sexy jutsu girl, is she allowed into the bathrooms because he
probably not.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Is even if you had like a bodies or something, and you transferred the consciousness of a man into a woman, it's still a man's consciousness.
True.
So even if you had the entire body and all the biological organs and everything worked perfectly fine with the mind, it's still a man's mind. Just like you have
But why is the
Sensei.
mind the important part?
Well, the mind is literally the being.
No.
Yes, all your decisions and everything you do is because of your mind.
Sure. It's the decision-making part, but it's not the actual being, because the body is also part of that.
Well, the genetic side of it, yes. But I'm
You
saying
cannot separate.
I'm going into the sci-fi realm here. Work with me. So if you were to do, like, for example, a full head transplant, and you take the head, pop it onto somebody else,
Okay.
or
yeah.
let's say you go even like Frankenstein method, and you go brain transplant or whatever. I don't think that
Brain
would
is
work.
probably more of a
That's more fantasy, but I'm
yeah.
talking. I'm talking like if you
No,
just
but even then, right? It's more complete than just the head, because otherwise you'd have like the beard or something on the
well,
other side.
I mean, I'm sure the body would fix its own stuff if that was possible. I don't think it's possible that way. It may be man to man, but not female to man or man to female. But
Maybe.
point being is that if you took the head and you put it on them, it'd be you or me with a different motorized mecha body of flesh
Sure.
made of orphan dragon meat. Not enemy will do. So if that's happening, is that then going to be okay? Because you saw Mushoku Tensei, right? Jobless
Yeah.
Incarnation or whatever it's called. So
Mhm.
he's a 40-plus-year-old guy in this
Right, yeah,
like
but
little
that is
6-year-old
using
body or
the
whatever.
mind theory. I don't think you
I-
can
I know-
separate
I
the
know,
mind
but-
from the body.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't mean like not separate as move it to a different place, but like the body is part of the self. It's part of the being. So if you have a body that's not what you know is different suddenly due to magic or whatever.
Well, the magic
that-
would adjust the body, so there's
Yeah,
that.
that could be a thing. But it's not you don't just take the mind as the thing that is the new version of the entity.
Well, if you were to have that kind of like quote unquote soul transfer from a man
Yeah.
into a woman, or I mean, let's look even at Osengar and
Wheel of Time.
Arengar.
Yeah.
That's the same place, same mindset. Let's just look at Wheel of Time. Osengar and Arengar. Osengar is the one who turns into a woman, right?
I think Osengar is the
Arengar is Agenor,
maybe. I'm not.
and
100%.
Osengar is Belthamel, if I recall
I
correctly.
always mix
Yeah.
those up.
Osengar is Belthamel, and was yeah. So
Uh,
Osengar is woman. Arengar.
No, it's Arengar. Arengar
Ar-
is
What?
yeah.
I just read this earlier, so I should know. But it was. I thought Osengar was the one who got killed at the fortress that Grendel had. But okay, whatever. That was the girl.
Yeah, but the girl gets killed because someone recognizes the Sidon, right?
No, the girl gets killed because Grendel holds her in place, so she dies. And
Okay, maybe.
that's what tips Randolph that Grendel got killed, even though she didn't actually get killed. That's why Grendel got punished for causing
Yeah,
Belthamel's
okay,
second
fair,
death.
fair.
So anyway, in the Wheel of Time, you have two men
Mhm.
and the Great Lord of the Dark Lord, Dark One, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, evil incarnate.
Basically, well, let's not go that far. He's evil, but he's not incarnate evil because
That's
evil,
fair,
evil
yeah,
itself is
true.
not a substance like that, but it's an action,
I guess.
a choice, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, he decides to take these two guys who got killed and put them into other bodies. But he makes it a little twisted where one goes into a man's body and the other one goes into a woman's body.
Well, no, both are twisted, but one of them is he likes to, do stuff with women, so he makes him one, and the other one is, I think he just became ugly or something.
Well, he was old. What's his name? Davenport. Shoot, the Ashaman guy. Just read his freaking name earlier. Dorvin Kashiva? Fudge. The one who tries to flatten the palace on Rand.
Yeah, Corlin Dashiva.
Corlin Dashiva. I had it backwards. Dag of it. So Corlin
Yeah.
Dashiva, he's just a dude, but he's an older looking dude. But Agenor was freaking old, so that makes sense. Belthamel, however,
the guy was rather vain, and so the Dark One thought,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
make him.
well, yes, but you can be vain either way. Anyway,
The other one was a womanizer.
for
so the Dark
Belthamel,
One thought, let's
for-
make him a woman.
for Belthamel, he gets put in the body of a woman, but his soul is still a man, and his 1 power abilities are still Sidene. They're not Sidar just because he's in It's ironically a precursor of how real life works. Just because you put a man and a woman doesn't, in the non-normal sense, uh, you don't just become the opposite just because reasons. So because of this, we can learn a couple things.
Well, specifically how it works in the Wheel of Time.
Well, how it works in the Wheel of Time, but how it works in the Wheel of Time is ironically real.
But
Like,
is it though?
Yes, because you can't just magically stop doing things that your body biologically does just because you throw a bunch of chemicals that your genome does not understand how to deal with. It causes problems and health issues.
True.
And also, we don't have enough data for long-term.
Specifically in this example, however, it is implied strongly in the text that the mind adapts to the body.
Well, he does. Belthomel does get comfortable in his skin, and I believe
The longer
he does actually sleep with men. I
stays-
believe.
The longer he stays in his situation, the more he starts being.
Yeah,
like that.
he
Of
feels
course,
comfortable, but he's still a
his
guy.
skull is technically still attached to Sidon.
Yeah, he's still
which-
technically a guy. He just kind of goes
Yeah.
by from straight. Because he still likes the ladies, but he also begins to like men due to the pleasures
fact
that
the
women
body
feel.
is-
Yeah, the body gives him pleasures that he can receive from men, and therefore, yada yada yada. But in terms of like how that would correlate to this would be more along the lines of, if that's the case, and if it's just a man who's still a man and is actively thinking as a man, and you put them in a perfect woman's body, it would still be a man.
Right.
Similar to
Maybe
Mushoku
unable to
Tensei.
distinguish.
Well, similar to Mushoku Tensei, where if you have a person reincarnated who is aware, and that's the key part of Mushoku Tensei, is that the awareness part. He's aware that he's reincarnated. He's aware that he's a child. He sees his little baby hands, and he grows up and he's become 6 or 8 or whatever, and he does all this perverted stuff. He's aware of those things as even the child, because he has the mind of a 40-year-old. He also makes judgment calls of a more mature level because he has the mind of a 40-plus-year-old. So, and that's that simple. Is like, let's say he had been put into the body of a girl. He'd still have the mind of a 40-year-old man. He'd know stuff.
Well, was he 40-year-old?
He was some 40-plus-year-old thing, like, because he was a guy that just stayed at home office worker, I guess, quit his job or whatever. He just died in his apartment.
Like 25 or something.
He was an old fat dude, whatever. I mean,
Well, fat doesn't mean he's old.
it helps. But anyway,
Yes.
he's an older guy who has lived experience. He also had a horrible life in his eyes, and being in another world, he's kind of taking the chance to be like, he could be his bad self, but I mean, he still has his perverted moments and whatnot, and there's a lot of messed up stuff in that series, but it's not like he just completely and utterly ceases to be his prior self. He is still himself, because
No, not
being-
not completely, but
well, not
he also
even
doesn't-
partially. He always
doesn't-
knows.
he doesn't stay the old self.
Well, he
The
doesn't.
longer the story goes on, the more he becomes more like the.
Well, he has
Mhm.
different experiences which mold his view on things and how he accepts things. Because he accepts that the people that he was in the prior, or that he was around with in the prior life, were more harsh and more blah 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 against him, versus the people in the new life where
Sure.
he's put in extraneous circumstances and he has to adapt to them accordingly. And obviously love and romance being one of those things, but also being like, he still had to deal with bullies. Like when Sylvie was getting picked on and he went over and, went after the bullies. It's one of those part and parcel things where like, he didn't like the bullying because he was bullied and he knew what it was like. But then he goes and experiences things like a leadership role where he has to experience the leadership role and having to take leadership to do certain things, like finding the people from his village and finding the people from the kingdom area that he was part of, in order for them to be, brought back home. And he was the only one who could really do that, even though his father was organizing this huge search and everything. And he had to take on that role. He was never in a leadership role before this. It was a whole brand new world to him. And it's something he experienced and he adapts to it. But he's still aware of all the prior experiences. It's like if you take a traumatized person and give them happy experiences, it doesn't mean they don't remember trauma.
That's true.
They might not actively choose to pursue the trauma and whatnot, and they can go on and be happy. But it doesn't mean that it just trauma evaporates. It's that mentality of, if that was the case, aren't they the same? Like, if the man wants to be the woman or the woman wants to be a man, aren't they the same thing? Like, why is that different? Like, I support that, but I don't let them go into these other areas. Well, why don't you let them go into the thing? Well, because they're not actually those things. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Because the only reason you wouldn't let them go in there is if they weren't actually those things. If a man does not actually become a woman, and
That's
you
fair.
don't want them in there,
I'm going to do a bit of defense for Rowling on this one. I think the idea here is that they're not actually
you heard it here, folks. Civil War Part 2.
they're not actually supposed to be recognized as actually men or women.
Or are they blobs?
No, they still are the old one. But so, for example, a trans woman is not a woman; that's still a man. But
Well, if the trans
maybe
people were real
Rowling-
people, they wouldn't call them trans; they'd call them just women.
that's not how that works.
Well, if they were actually women, that's how that would
No,
work.
I think the point Rowling has is that it's more so that the trans part is the fact that they behave like the other gender and or identify with it, but
So
not
she's saying it's a mental health condition, and they're just playing the
It's-
part.
Yeah, or if you take the more nice approach of saying it,
Nice
they
approach.
prefer to be recognized as the other.
I'd prefer to be recognized as a billionaire, but here we are.
Yeah, well, you
So-
can do that, and that's fair.
Somebody
but
having
you're not
somebody
actually.
almost like you're not actually a woman if you're a man and wanting to be a
Mhm.
woman.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's I
you,
think
your
Rowling's
preference does
position
not
is-
make things reality. That's not how that
I
works.
think
but-
Rowling's position is you're allowed to behave like and use the pronouns, etc., whatever, but you're not actually the other.
You're allowed to act the part, but you're not allowed to act the part in our space.
Yeah,
Which I
you're
find
allowed
silly.
to act
That's not very leftist of her, but
as the other, but you're not actually that. It's still acting.
Yeah.
I
But
think
on
that's
to the
Go ahead,
next and
Bruno.
possibly final part of this, since I don't have to really go on for much longer on this.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the next bit?
who should play what? Who should play who? I think the question ultimately comes down.
I think I could do a Snape.
We're gonna have to make you a little bit more pale there, buddy.
Yeah.
And also we're gonna have to get your nose a little bit more hooked, and we have to
we can
uglify
do
it.
like a little prosthetic.
I mean,
thing on top.
if you fly me out there, I'll give you some good ones, and you'll look perfectly ugly for the part.
No, I think I'm fine.
It's totally legal there. Don't worry. Violence against the citizen is totally acceptable. But anyway, who should play who, and who should play what, and is there a role that? What's the most common argument we hear?
They were the best actor for the job.
I didn't have to
Awesome.
say anything. Thank you. Oh, that's so obvious. So, who's the best role to play a character? Well, the best actor, obviously, right?
Yeah,
This
but
this
that's
includes
not the
actors
only
and
thing.
actresses. Well, no. That's all that has to matter according to these people. So,
yeah, according to them. Sure,
according to
whatever.
them, the best actor is the best actor. Now, the problem with this theory, I guess, the problem with this is that
Well, no, they say the best actor for the specific character. But
they're all specific
because
characters. You're going to narrow it
yeah,
down.
I know, but so I think they only take into account the overall sort of behavioral.
Can a man who's trans into a woman play a woman-female character?
No,
I'm pretty sure they've done it multiple times.
well, but they're not allowed to. That's bad.
Well, obviously not, because they're allowed to do it. That's why they did it.
Okay, fine.
But if you were to have a white man play a black man, that's a problem. They're not going to allow that.
No.
So we call that double standards and hypocritical positions. But
Hypocrisy. Yeah.
hypocrisy, yes. Now, I would contend that if you're not going to follow the source material due to the argument that, And again, it hasn't been confirmed, so I'm not saying they have these people being these things. I think it's silly to be in casting talks with somebody that you have zero intention of ever doing anything with, because you're going to go with the character who's the best fit, or the actor who's the best fit for the character by appearances and everything.
Everyone's time.
It wastes everyone's time. But that could be a theory, is that it's just a rage bait, and they're just trying to get people drawn to the Harry Potter controversy
And thus put eyes on Harry Potter. Like it needs people to put eyes on Harry Potter. What the freaking crap is this? But no, like, if it doesn't actually matter, and all of this, none of this actually matters, right? Like, we could just pick whoever, and we'll have, like, when they had the guy who plays Perrin in Wheel of Time, they had him come in, and they're like, we were all just crying and sobbing, and it was so heart-touching. And we're all like,
why?
That's what an actor's supposed to do. So any actor should be able to do that, right? So that's
no,
the
maybe
case.
More if it's a bad actor, then they can't.
Bad actors can make you cry too, just a different way.
Okay, good point.
But like, if it doesn't matter, it's like you can't say, oh, well, we had a pool of 7,000 people who wanted to be Perrin, and we picked this one because he was the best one because he made us cry. It's like, why did he make you cry? Because you had checklists to make, or was it because he actually fit the character?
It's definitely the checklists.
It's the checklist. But here's the thing: the best actor available. Does anybody know who that might be?
I don't.
It
But
might
I heard
be...
you had a good
yes
candidates.
Yes. For example,
I don't
Robert
think
Downey
everyone
Jr.
agrees on that.
Huh?
I don't think everyone agrees on whichever choice you make, of course.
Well, nobody has to agree with it. They're going to be wrong. It's comfortable to be if they want to be wrong,
Okay.
so it's okay. But Severus Snape being played by Robert Downey Jr., and he could even be in blackface. He's a
I
white
guess.
guy. He could be very pale underneath the blackface, but he could also play the dude, playing the dude disguised as another dude, so he can also be different race as well. And he's a better actor.
Yeah.
And it would be a legendary casting in terms of silliness. But there's just it'd be iconic for a whole different reason. But can you imagine Severus Snape, Harry Potter? I am the dude playing the dude described as another dude. I don't even think that's a very good Severus Snape voice, but it is what it is. Anyway, if you're gonna pick a character for whoever it is, then you could pick men for the women characters and women for the men characters, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their race is. It doesn't matter what that. Like, I don't have to be able to visibly identify a character as who they are described to be, because we're looking for the best. But that's why we don't look for the best. We look for the best that suits the role according to the source material. So if you have a
Which
character...
includes character appearance, by the way. Just
yes, I'm pointing that out. But yes, if you have a character who's known as like super crazy pale or sallow skin or something, you don't pick a person with dark skin, because it's literally
like
the polar
Voldemort,
opposite.
for example, or
yeah, Voldemort or Egwene.
yeah, or the Aiel,
or the Aiel. Like, if somebody's like, hey, they're an Irish redhead or a Scottish redhead, they're like, oh, let's make them black or Asian. It's like,
yeah, wait a minute.
No, how about we don't? Because if you see a description, you take that description, you find the best actor that fits that description. That's how you're supposed to act. If they're not as good as another actor who doesn't fit the part or the role.
To be fair, actually, I think the appearance fit would probably be the single most important parts you want to fit the actor to.
That's what I was saying. I literally just said that.
No, but like, if you have
I'm going to stop you so I can agree with you.
Okay,
hold
fine.
everything up.
I'll just agree. Whatever.
Civil War averted. Anyway, no, I was saying that it's the best person who fits the role, and the role is based off of the description of the source material. Now, if there is zero descriptions whatsoever, it can kind of be whatever.
Yeah, but
I think we had this conversation last video too. is that there are some things that are
Contact
required for
lists.
quote unquote perfection and things that are not for quote unquote perfection.
Yeah, let's not do that again, though.
Don't do that again. Anyway, we're
We
not
already
gonna
did
go all the way through that because you were wrong and it's okay. But
No, I disagree.
Civil War Part 2.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'll leave it just that. I
know,
disagree.
I know.
and
The
then-
point being is that when you have a description, to ignore that description for the quote unquote best actor or actress is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you have like
I think it should be
why-
like a 80%.
if I came to whoever the director, the casting people are, or whatever, and it said, "How did you come to the conclusion that this was this actor's for this role?" They'd be like, "Well, he was the best choice." I'm like, "What makes him the best choice?"
Was he, though?
He embodied or she embodied the role the best. Elaborate for me, if you will. Like, what exactly did they have in their role that made them stand out so far apart from everybody else? It's like, oh, well, they just did a really good job. Like
Yeah.
everyone's supposed to? Like,
I think the
do
idea
you
there
hire
is that
bad actors?
they put 100% on the supposed a good personality fit, right?
the best actor.
Yeah, but that's of course not actually true, because we've seen the actors that play various characters, and they're nothing like
We've
their
seen
personality.
things. You have not seen what I've seen. Oh, I have seen these things.
You have not seen what I've seen.
I have, unfortunately.
But yeah, I think they in their mind they're going 100% only personality of the character.
And not even that, because they can't get that right half the time.
They can't get that right. Sure.
Okay, they can't get that right any of the time. I apologize.
Okay,
I misspoke.
Sometimes it works.
No, it doesn't.
sometimes.
It really
very
doesn't.
rarely, but not
So rarely, it never happens.
And to be fair, if it happens so rarely that they do get that right, why not just go the other way around and make sure that at least the character appearance fits their description? Because if the actor is going to be different personality-wise anyway, then well, we have nothing. Which is how the entire Wheel of Time TV show
The
happens.
TV what? But anyway, I think, I mean, one, Wheel of Time is difficult to adjust quite to the same level as like Harry Potter. Harry Potter would only be what, 7 or 8 seasons?
I don't know what they're going to do.
How many books are there?
There are 7 books, but if they are going to do
There you go.
1 book per season is unclear. Maybe they do like.
From what I understand, that's the range they're going
No,
for.
but see, the problem is that book 1 is like this thick, and then book 5 is like this. So
Well, I didn't say how many episodes
So
per season would there would
fitting
be.
okay, fair enough.
I just said that they're planning on doing it. Well,
But
season
it
1
seems
being one
weird
book.
to go. Season 1 has 2 episodes. Season 5 has 20 million.
They might lean more heavily on activities or events or have the in-betweens. Kind of like if you have a scene where you have a bunch of kids getting together for an organization, you're seeing them coming down the stairs where you normally wouldn't see that part. They'd
Okay,
probably-
fair.
They can pad it with actual aspects of the books. And again, keep in mind, I haven't read the books, so I'm just speaking out of my mouth because I don't know how they actually happen in the books. I'm just relaying to a scene that could make sense, where normally they're like, we need to get to this scene quicker, so we're not
Mhm.
going to have them walk down the stairs and us watch them the entire time. Or
By the
maybe
way,
that
fun fact: book 1, the part where they arrive at Hogwarts for the first time is halfway into the book.
there you go.
So
Lots
all
going to happen
the-
in that time period.
Yeah, but not really.
Maybe
He's just sort of hanging out at home.
as you do, at least
As you
as I do.
Yeah.
But no,
It's
like
not eventful, let's say.
I mean, in my day, it's pretty eventful, and I try to stay home as much as possible. But
Fair
you don't.
But
do
it's not
anything.
exciting.
You don't do anything, and you stay home all day, and it's very eventful. So I don't know how you managed to pull that one off. But no, like if you're trying to take multiple things and like pad a scene, so to speak, you can pad the scene with actual content by just adding more visual representation.
That's
and
fair.
you'll do a lot less annoying things like the acolyte with not the acolyte, the what's their face?
I don't know.
No, what's the one that came out before acolyte? Space Whales.
Space Whales?
Yeah,
Is it
orange.
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka, thank you. they started with A's. I just kind of got stuck on Acolyte, but how Ahsoka had like 3-minute length just staring before moving. Like
Oh,
there's like a whole lot of there's a
never
whole,
watched it
I
because
saw
you know,
clips from like Star Wars Theory and other people who covered that content where it's just like they'd stand there.
just vaguely know it exists, and it wasn't very good.
And then they'd start walking away, and it's just like, why is there nothing but silence for 5 minutes, and all you do is turn and walk away? Like,
Yeah, that's a
you
good
don't
question.
you don't normally have that in there as content. You'd normally cut it out. You'd be like, okay, I'm looking at you,
Well,
You could get the views of people looking at each
you
other,
might see
and then
some
you
stuff
cut,
like
cut,
that
cut, cut,
in
cut.
the very old movies.
Yeah, in Wild West showdowns, but there's like
Yeah.
a purpose for that.
That's fair.
That's people are about to die, but not like Ahsoka where she just kind of stands there. And just keep doing that for however many minutes. And it's
Yeah.
boring nothingness, and I call it
Mm-hmm.
the hallway of nothingness. It's literally just silence,
Okay,
and you're
that's
just seeing it.
name. Sure.
And it's just like, okay, well, now that nothing's happened, nothing's moved the plot. I don't know anything more about the character at the end of this scene than I did at the beginning of this scene.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? Well, it's obviously to pad minutes.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand from Ahsoka, they were like 20-minute, 30-minute episodes at most.
What, they were that short?
Yeah. From what I understand, they were pretty short.
Okay.
And half of that is pretty much just nothing happening.
Hmm.
And it's just like, okay,
But there's
well,
not even a show then, is there?
not really. You could probably have made the entire Ahsoka series in a single movie, and it'd probably been like 2.5 hours long, if that. I don't remember if there might have been 8 episodes for Ahsoka. If there's 8 episodes, you could probably do that in an hour and a half. Like
Yeah.
there's just really not much there. And if
You
you
know,
took,
it might have been
and
actually.
if you took out all the
good
dumb
it
and
was a movie.
retarded episodes with all the people doing all the
Honest.
dumb retarded stuff, it'd be a much shorter movie, like 20 minutes long, probably.
It would also be better.
It would also be much better, yes, but you'd have to get rid of actual characters for that. But then again, I'm not a
We can
Rebels.
arrange that.
I'm not a Rebels fan boy. I'm not a fan of the Clone Wars because I haven't watched them. Not the cartoons, not the.
Yeah. So
live
you're not a
action.
fan because you haven't watched them, or
I
you're not
haven't
a
had
fan
I
because
haven't had a reason to watch
you
them.
aren't going to watch them anyway because you already hate it.
Well, I hear the original Clone Wars, like the non 3D version, was pretty good.
Yeah, I heard the same.
That's good. That's gotten good recommendations. I just haven't had any interest. Since if Star Wars is dead, why would I just imbibe
That's
more
fair.
Star Wars?
That's fair. That's a good point. I might just
Like
go
if
and
Wheel
watch
of
that.
Time show is dead, why would I go imbibe more Wheel of Time?
Because the Wheel of Time is not only the show. Luckily,
Well, I know, but
because-
I'm saying it's like if all the content I have to look forward to for Wheel of Time because there's no more books coming out,
Mhm.
it's all going to be slop no matter what it is. So why would I put
Yeah.
more time into it?
That's fair.
I mean,
But
yes,
you
I
could
can
maybe reread the books, right?
Yeah, I
That's-
only do that every year, so it's not like that's anything new.
Yeah, but like if there's only going to be shitty shows, that doesn't stop you from going back to the originals.
It doesn't depress me enough to the point where sometimes I don't want to.
Okay, but that. I guess that is a problem that will fix itself in due time.
Maybe because every time I read the books, I'll have to remind myself the shows exist.
Yeah,
And every time I
That's-
hear the audiobooks by Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, because those are the only ones I acknowledge, I also have to acknowledge the fact that somebody else named freaking what's her face?
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, Rosamund Pike had to go and bastardize the audiobooks.
To be fair, I don't think she did a terrible job at that. It's just really awkward.
I mean,
sometimes
she did a
just
massively
because-
inferior job compared to Michael Kramer and
That's
Kate Redding.
that's fair. Yeah,
But
but it's not terrible.
I would say it's
on-
terrible because I have to hear her voice and I remember her from the show.
Okay, but that's a circumstance that changes it for you.
And you probably.
It's-
But-
Yeah, sure, but like if you try and look at it objectively, it's not a bad audiobook.
well, it's because the book itself is still good, despite her.
That's true. That's true.
I'd rather have Andy Serkis do it. If you're gonna have another person other than Michael Kramer and Kate Redding do it, have Andy Serkis do it.
Maybe.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I get that, but like I already have the other one, so why?
different outlook. Plus, he also does all the characters' voices in actual voices.
Fair, but so does Rosamund Pike.
I've heard her loyal. No.
Yeah, no, that's not a good example.
It's like, oh, that's second thought. But yeah, the different roles. Like Michael Kramer and Kate Redding worked out because they're just phenomenal narrators, but also because they have their own versions of it, so you can get kind of like used to different characters.
Yeah.
And even when the
I
other
think
person does it,
if anything, what I really liked there is that they switched the voice actor based on who the point of view is from.
yes, they didn't do that until
I
the
think-
second book, I think.
No, they did that starting from the first.
I feel like Mike Kramer took pretty much the entire first book almost.
Yeah, that's because there's not many point of views from the other characters.
As it should be. What? No, who said that? But no.
But there is like one naive chapter sort of in the middle.
She didn't start any chapters. She did parts of chapters. He started all of them. But when you get to the other books and they start splitting them up, when the chapters are started by women, it's Kate Redding. If it's started by men, it's by Michael Kramer.
No, they switch halfway through chapters if the point of view changes.
Not all the time. There's some aspects they don't.
All of the time. I haven't.
There
found
has
a
to be
single
enough
point where-
content for it to like it would have to be like half of the chapter. If there's like 2 paragraphs and it's a different point of view, they're not switching voices usually. Because she can do the men's voices and he can do the women's voices, and we're kind of just
Yeah.
used to it. Because whenever the secondary character comes in, so if Nynaeve walks in the room with Rand, but it's Rand's perspective, he still can do Nynaeve's voice. But I think ultimately, since we kind of got off track of the actual
Mhm, yeah, a bit.
casting bit, thanks for that, Sage. But
What do you mean?
it's all your fault, obviously.
I didn't do anything.
You're European. That's all you had to do. But anyway, the casting aspect, I think if you're going to go for the best person for the job kind of argumentation, then why are they not using the best actors and actresses? Why are they using subpar? Why are they using Rosamund Pike instead of Kate Blanchett? I can hear that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh.
We're gonna get copyright claim because of you and your stupid 30-second clip. Anyway, no, like, why not have Kate Blanchett play the Moraine role if that was what you're gonna go for? If we're just gonna pick really tall people anyway, then might as well do that, and it'll at least be a better performance.
Yep.
But why is the height of Moraine important, you might ask? Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
It's because she's Kyrianan. And there's this
Mhm, yeah.
little detail.
Wait, but it doesn't matter because Kyrian is multi-ethnic.
Let me tell you this little detail, pun intended, about Kyrian. They're little people. Not literally little people, but they're little
they're-
compared to everybody else.
They're like this tall.
They're it's Gulliver's Travels. But no, I think the average height for like Kyrianan is like 5 foot, something like that. Like,
I don't know.
they're pretty short. I think maybe the tallest would be like 5'6". Like
I only know
Kyrianan,
that there's
by
shorts. I'm
default,
not sure about any specific heights because it's all in American units.
I forgot he's a heathen.
Yeah.
It's of a height much smaller than you. You I think you said you're like 6'5" or something like that.
Yeah.
So take 12 inches
Mm-hmm.
and reduce
do
it
what?
by a lot.
By a lot.
Yeah. So in your case, it would take an entire foot.
Okay, sure.
A foot shorter than you would be the highest,
Which is like how much? Like this?
roughly. I mean, it's 12 inches, but yeah.
Yeah.
just look
That
up
means
12
nothing.
inches and it'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about.
Fine.
But they're short people. And they're contrasted with the Andorrans, because I know they hate this in the show, but in the show everyone's multicultural, multi-diversity, yada 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 yada, which if everyone's the same, then no one's different.
No, wait. I guess that technically fits.
Yeah, I'm saying that the perspective of every city is the exact same as every other city. What is the differentiating factor between those cities and those countries?
The name.
Nope. Because the people
Well, they
in
all
each
they all
city
have the same name.
identifies as the exact same people as the other cities.
Huh.
Because there's no differentiation. And half of
So-
half of the reasons people go to war is because there's people that are different from them. So if you take away the different from them part,
No, that
why would
can't
they go to
be. That would
war?
be racist.
Well, yeah, history is clearly racist,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the ancient times where everyone enslaved everybody else because it was normal.
No, that didn't happen. I don't believe it.
That's because you're European whitewash people. Your history books are now changed. It was Africa all along.
Oh no.
You're black and you don't even know it.
What? So where are my reparations?
It's all
then?
coming together. Your reparations? Well, Germany's about to hand them out.
Hmm, fair enough.
But anyway, enough political chat.
Yeah, let's not go too deep into that.
We're not going to. But the point is that the Andorrans are notoriously different from the Kyrian, and because height difference and stature and all the way they hold themselves and everything. Like you can tell an Andorran lord when they walk in a room, apparently, because Rand walks into a room and everyone's like, Andorran lord. So
Even
that
though
doesn't
he's Aiel,
even this way.
even though he's an Aiel, essentially.
Well, yes, we've got reddish hair, and guess who else has reddish hair?
I guess the Andorran nobles.
Well, some of them, yes. But who also is really tall?
I guess the Andorrans then.
Shocking! I know, right? Like, so if you have people who are described a certain way because in the description that they're being imposed upon in the events, they have to make sense. How did they come to that conclusion? How is it that a tall person who has reddish hair looks like tall people with reddish hair in Andor walking into a short people territory and being like, he must be an Andor noble? Why do you think that? Well, he's just short like us, right? Well, no, he's taller than us. He looks like an Andorran person. Therefore, he's Andorran. And to be fair, they are half correct. But that's a different story. Anyway.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Anyway, more gays is his mom. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's not.
What? Oh no.
oh no. If you see her in the show, she's really not because she's blonde. It just means she's dumb. But yes. If you have characters described a specific way, like the Illianers have beards, but they shave the upper lip. They don't have this part. The mustache doesn't exist, but they have the sides and they have the beard.
Yeah.
Right? So if you see somebody wearing the Illianer style, odds are they're Illianer because Illianers are extremely proud of their heritage.
Could just be an immigrant.
Hypothetically possible, but very unlikely because if you had, say, I don't know, a sea folk Illianer, you'd notice.
Fair enough.
And
But that's not because of the
or a
beard.
Terraboner, or a Damani from Arad Daman.
Yeah.
How about some of them Borderlanders who are completely different? It's like it's okay to be different. We
No,
don't
it's not.
have to be the
That's-
same.
That's not allowed.
Unless you vote for somebody else than me, then it's a problem. But I mean, just say it.
Yeah. Mhm.
But no, like the reason different places exist, like how do we know someone's British?
We don't actually.
Their terrible accent. They're just trying to be American and they just fail so hard. Anyway, how do you tell an Australian from a British person?
Because
The
they're
terrible
like,
accent.
yeah.
But this time on both sides.
So wait, they're the same?
Well, they're both terrible. They're just on different sides.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's just there's so many reasons differences matter. But when it comes to casting, if the differences don't matter, then it doesn't matter who you pick. You could literally just put your hands over your eyes, point out, and just spin until you land on somebody. They're an actor, allegedly, unless you point at the janitor who's not actually an actor, or the
Well, no,
child over there
he-
that's just with their parent who's the actor, and they're
So-
just sitting.
Too bad. They're now an actor.
Now you're an actor, good sir. You could be the janitor, Perrin. What the frick is Perrin?
What?
Perarian. That's the Perarian janitor. Anyway, you just randomly point at somebody. They're like, you get the job. Why? Because they're an actor. They're
I know.
supposed to act. That's literally their job. So if they're not doing their job, why are they an actor?
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter what their skin color is because they're the best actor, right? Well, if that's the case, then we need to pick the best actor, which would be whoever the best actor in Hollywood is at this time. Like Robert Downey Jr. is a really good actor. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, but I don't think they would be a good fit for Elaine.
Sure they would, because they're the best actor. Did you not get the memo
Okay,
from
fine.
Hollywood? We
You've
need the
got me
best
convinced.
actor. They have a great personality.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good point. Yeah.
So now, if you're going to pick source material, then you go.
For which of the two?
For which of the two? For what?
For Elaine.
It doesn't matter because they're both the best actor and they're both the best personality.
So they can just take turns.
Sure. I mean, why not have actors switch roles and switch outfits during actual shit?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter because we just pick the best actor. Nothing matters. There's no standard. You just pick somebody, throw them on the screen, have them act. That's their job.
Yeah.
So
I see nothing.
there's nothing
wrong
wrong
with
with
this.
that. Now, if you're trying to pick a character or pick a person to act as a character, usually you'd go and say, okay, what if this only applies specifically when there as actual source material to base it off of, because a lot of things don't have source material because they're just written as a new show or something.
Like Star Wars.
Sure. Although technically they do have books for that, but
Well, but they were written after the.
yes, but if you were to cover that content afterwards, it already have established quote unquote canon.
Fair enough.
And technically it was accepted by George Lucas as canon, so there's that too. It makes it a little hairy. But I get your point. I'd say it's more akin to Star Trek, because Star Trek was a show before it was books, kind of a thing. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
so if you make Star Trek as characters, and you're like, oh, we need Spock, we need Captain Kirk, yada yada yada. Well, you go based off of whatever you make them to be. When they write books, they're going to write them off of those descriptions. Why would they follow that and then not work in the reverse? Why would you write a book with their descriptions matching the show, but not the show and matching the book? It doesn't make logical sense because they're not logical people. Now,
yeah, it doesn't.
in some situations, it doesn't matter because where they come from doesn't matter. What they look like doesn't matter. And maybe there's a book where there's characters that you don't even know what they look like because the author did a terrible job of explaining the world and building it for you, which happens more often than not, sadly. But maybe that's what happened. Perfectly possible. Not reasonable, but perfectly possible. And it is what it is. But if you're making it from nothing and you're just making a show out of the blue, then it doesn't matter. But let's say you have a blind swordsman who takes on 100 guys in 10 minutes or something, or whatever the case might be. I'm kind of Blade of the Immortal, but he's not fully blind. But
Sure.
let's say, for example, you have a blind swordsman. Well, you have to make him blind. He can't have access to both of his eyes and then work with sight. It literally counters the entire point or the awe of it. But no one's going to believe that a blind swordsman can kill 100 people in 10 minutes.
Why not?
Exactly. Why not? All the other crap you guys make, no one's going to believe that a freaking, original Celtic person's from Africa. No one's going to believe that. Because historically, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone freaking Norwegians. Oh my gosh, Sweden was oh gosh, it's so bad. If somebody could get rid of the BBC, that'd be great.
Well, that's on you. You're funding it, so
Actually, I'm not. I'm not British.
no, but like a USA idea.
Well, then it's gone already. I don't know what you want from me.
Well, not officially, right?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not paying that close of attention to it. But the point being, if you're going to have castings, it either matters or it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter, then follow the source material. And if it does matter, source material. Your only options, source material or source material. You can't pick and choose because of any other aspect and expect people to be happy with it. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you have people who are like, I want you to do this series. And you're like, okay, let's do this series. And you go to the source material. You cast accordingly. And you get those people in there. The people who would be unhappy with you because they're not there's too many white people or whatever, they're all racist. You don't have to worry about appealing to them. They're already bad people. you can't say that people who care about the source material and point out the obvious of, this is a scene with a sridit, which is an elephant, and instead they put a donkey. We're obviously going to be like, that's supposed to be an elephant. Racist! You can't do that. Because we have source material to back it up. We're not doing it because we hate a person for immutable characteristics. We're saying that's not the right fit because it doesn't fit in the particular... Like, imagine if they did Lord of the Rings. Instead of Oliphants and Mumakil, we had donkeys. Little tiny, tiny donkeys. How are you going to fit this ginormous little palisade thing on its back that has archers shooting?
Put it on top, right? It's going to.
I know, right?
Sure.
It's totally not going to crush the weight of the donkey with the the bodies of
really
20
strong
plus
donkey.
men. And yeah, he's just going to swing his head and knock around some horsemen. Like it's
Yeah, I can
no
totally
big
see that
deal,
happening.
guys. There's so many problems with it, but I think I've made my point. So that's all I had for today. I believe next week we will be jumping into
Hell.
Yes, I couldn't put it better myself. But we're doing it like ODST jumpers. We're gonna jump in feet first into hell, as they say.
Okay.
Although I really want to do it head first, so I can freaking snap my neck.
You're
impact.
welcome to do that. I'm going to go for the other option.
Feet first.
Yeah.
He'd rather live in hell. I'd rather get out of it. But yeah. We'll cover I guess we're doing all 3 episodes as like a quick breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, episode 1, of course, has already been
Leaked.
sorted. Well, it's not really leaked, is it?
I mean, it kind of has been. It was supposed to be for a select few of people, and then all of a sudden we got people sneaking in there and watching it. So the show.
No, you can just sign up and go in.
Select few.
No, it's not.
Only the
select
people
few.
who signed up could go in. That's what select
Yeah.
is.
But everyone could do it.
But everyone didn't. Therefore, select few.
Yeah, but that's because some people forgot it was a thing.
Or knew what it was even to begin with.
Yes.
Me. I'm the one who shared it, and I still didn't freaking know what it was. Anyway,
Yeah. You gave me the link to the thing, and then
I didn't know what it was.
afterwards,
I just said, "Hey, here's
why
something funny that's
is
going on."
everyone talking about episode 1?
Yeah, I got the link and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then everyone was talking about it. I was like, "What do you mean you saw it? How did you see it?" And so did it come out early? What? And like, no, it was this little fan thing. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll cover the first 3.
I've technically seen episode 1 already. It's not great. Let's be honest.
I feel like that's a little bit of an understatement, but yeah,
that is an
we'll
understatement.
run with
sure,
that.
but
We'll just run
yeah.
with that. But yes, we'll cover that next time. Sage, you got anything going on? No, you don't. Thanks for coming. And
No, I don't.
hopefully Matt will be here for that because I think he'd enjoy being here for that one. Well, okay, maybe he won't. He'll enjoy ranting about it.
That's fair.
I don't think he'll enjoy actually watching it. He'll enjoy ranting though. Let's see what else. I think besides that, there's not a whole lot going to be going on immediately per se, but I'm sure more will happen in the world that we'll think of at some point.
Probably. Who knows?
But yes, so that's something to look forward to, everybody. So thanks for hanging out and all that fun stuff. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that I always forget to do at the beginning because, I'm good at this whole professional YouTuber thingy.
Yep.
Even though I'm not a professional in any shape or form. I just know how to talk a lot, obviously, because I do it. So thanks, everybody. No, you haven't. You know nothing, Joyce. No.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks, everybody.
Seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
But you've not seen what I have seen.
But I've heard what I've heard. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. And remember, walk in the light, my friends.
Farewell.